Hi, I'm Apostle Carlos Reid, and I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in to our weekly broadcast, Word of Hope. Today we're going to take you to a service that we did down at New Covenant Baptist Church, where the presiding pastor is Bishop Simeon Hall. We had a wonderful time down there, and I believe that this word is going to bless your soul. I'm going to be right back after these words with some closing comments.
Your pain, there is healing. You can make it through the bad times. Stand up, get up, get up. You can hold on, that's the real deal. And if you fall, he will catch you. And there's no doubt he will bring you out.
I want you to stand to your feet. I want you to honor this man of God this morning. Let's don't wait until he's no longer here to give him his roses and his kudos. We're going to give it to him right now. You know what I love about Bishop? It's one of the few preachers that allow me to be me. Allow me to run my race. Allow me to break it how I want to break it. So I believe that we're trying to get so many people to be like us. But can I tell you this morning, if you and I are just alike, then that makes one of us unnecessary. And I believe it's you. It's all right for us to be different. It's all right for you to run your own race. It's all right for you to be who God created you to be. I'm not talking to anybody here. I believe that's one of the problems that we have in our nation. We're trying to mortalize everybody. We celebrate sameness too much. Everybody wants everybody to be like them, dress like me, talk like me. But it's all right to be yourself. Because I believe that God created everybody different. And I believe that God created everybody different because he got a different purpose for everybody. Even our young people celebrate sameness too much. This is why one young boy decides now that he wears pants below his bongi. Oh, I can say that, young. See, God's still working on me. So it's going to get all rough up in here in a little bit. That's all right? But one young man decides he's going to pull his pants down and everybody else decides to do the same thing. Young girl, she see everybody else get purple hair. She decides she's going to do the same thing. And now even the young girls going down, they putting grills in the front of them. I went into the jewelry store just yesterday. The girl came in and she wanted to get a polisher grill. For some of you folks who've been younger longer, the grill is the gold teeth, they're getting them out. So they're polishing it up. Why? Where did they get that from? See, my brothers and sisters, I remember we had this dog, and the dog Bishop's name was Mimi. And Mimi ran out in she was a pot cake, one of them real big evening dogs. It wasn't none of them other stuff. She was real, she was in mix, real hard pot cake. And one day Mimi ran out on the road and the car came by and knocked Mimi down. We had to take her to the Human Society and they managed to put her together. But the car rolled over her hind legs. So even though Mimi caught herself, like Mimi when she walked, she would put her 2 foot out and she would pull herself. And she would just pull herself, and this is how she walked. Well, as fate would have it, Mimi went on and she had some pups. And when the puppies came, even though no car rolled over their hind legs, they walked the same way they saw Mimi walk. So they would walk, and all of them walked the same way. See, my brothers and sisters, when we look at our country today, there's nothing wrong with the young people. They're just walking the same way they see us walk. Are we talking here? So I put it to you this morning that the problem is not with the young people, but the problem is really in who they're watching. So I believe that if some people would get themselves together, what it would do is give them a different model to model themselves after, because we become a set of people that actually do what we see other people do. See, my daddy growing up, he told me don't drink, don't smoke, but I saw him drinking, I saw him smoking, so I wasn't even listening to the talk no more, I was watching the walk. doing what I see you doing. So my brothers and sisters, we have come to a place in our country where we govern ourselves based upon what we see people doing, not what they say. So we preach a good message, but then our walk is messed up. We tell people how to love people, but then we ourselves are not learning how to love people. We come to church and we jump down and park our horn and tie our bow tie, but when we go home, we curse the dog out. We're nasty to the children. And then we tell them that we saved. And they look at us and they say, this just don't look right. What saved people should look like. So in all honesty, what they do is like, they say, you know something, see they just faking, so I might as well just be real. So they go and they look for God, but they're not looking for God in the churches because the church ain't real, because I see mommy and daddy. But brothers and sisters, we come to a place where what we do don't just affect us no more. What affect everybody that look at us. You say people ain't changed, and maybe we need to get like Michael Jackson and take a look at the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson said, I'm going to change this world, but I'm going to start with the man in the mirror. So we cannot change this world until we first change ourselves. You don't have the power to change me, but you have the power to change yourself. This woman, one day she decided she was going by Kelly's to buy some light bulbs, and she called her husband on the phone and she went to buy his light bulbs. When the husband came home about an hour later, his wife was not home, so he figured out she must have went to buy the light bulbs. But half an hour later, she was not home, and being the Bahamian man that he was, he decided that he was going to check this out. So he goes by Kelly, but he didn't see the car. So he drove back home, and by the time he reached home, the car was in the yard. But the car was not parked the way that it normally parked. The car was parked not in the driveway, but across the driveway. So he goes in the house and said, well, honey, why is the car parked this way? She said, honey, you would never believe what happened to me. So I drove to Kelly's to get the light bulb, but when I came out, I tried to turn the wheel left, but the car wouldn't turn left. The car just keep going right, so I only could make right turns. So I had to ride all the way back home just making right turns. And this is how I got back home. This is why it took so long. See, my brothers and sisters, some of us only here because we only could make right turns. Even when we wanted to go left, or something that broke that caused us only to stay right. So people look at us today and they judge us, not knowing that we only here by the grace of God. See, I never wanted to be no pastor. I never wanted to be no preacher. I was comfortable selling dope. I was confident. I was comfortable being a gangster. But on my way to Damascus, God decided to knock me off my horse. Sometimes people see you, they don't know what you're dealing with. But I'm only here by the grace of God, not by no choice of my own. People got a problem, they hate on people, but not knowing what you're dealing with. I'm only trying to stay safe. Some of y'all don't look at me like y'all ain't trying to stay safe. Y'all know y'all ain't being no university. Some of y'all know what it is to be the box seat height. I ain't saying that in church. All of a sudden God put a little bit of grace on you and you believe you better than people. But I stop by to let you know today that God can place his grace on anybody. This woman came to Jesus one day. She was going through issue, the Bible says, for 12 years, this woman had an issue. This woman being everywhere. She could be in all the doctors, just took her money. And she came to this house, and the Bible said the house was so packed. When the woman reached out, there wasn't even no room to get in. There was also another man that was there, the Bible says, by the name of Jairus. Jairus had gone to Jesus because his daughter also had a problem. His daughter was 12 years old, and she had a problem, and he gone to Jesus because he was dying. But in the midst of Jairus trying to get his miracle, here comes this woman. The Bible says that she pressed her way in, but when I looked at the scripture, I got something totally different. See, because this woman had an issue with blood, and anybody who would know anything about her, but you just know that if you had an issue with blood, you couldn't be around people. So when she came to these people, she had to stand over underneath the lily tree for a little while. And she had to hide because everybody, she had the situation for 12 years, so everybody knew her situation. It wasn't no secret. In the Bahamas, if you have AIDS for 12 years, everybody gonna know you have AIDS. So this woman had an issue. So this woman came to Jesus, a last opportunity. And she stood from a distance. The woman had an issue with blood, and in those days that was considered to be a nasty situation. So everybody looked at her and scorned her because she was nasty. See, this wasn't like the monthly menstruation period that she had. She always had. And they didn't have the modern stuff that they have today for the feminine. So you know that it showed, eh? So everywhere she went, people look at that nasty woman. But this woman came, and the Bible said after she contemplated, she looked from, I really don't want nobody to see me because, you know, even though they have a church, if I go in there, everybody can look at me funny. But this woman said, you know something? I can care less what nobody says. It's been 12 years I've been in my mess, and the day I coming out. So the Bible said when she reached to the door, there was these ushers to the door, and the ushers tell her, see, no more room inside here. You're going to have to wait on the outside. So she created a diversion and caused the usher to look the next man that she gets pushed away through. And the Bible says she just wanted to make her way through. And Jesus then was talking to Jairus, and the woman didn't even say, excuse me. She didn't have that kind of time because she didn't want to draw no attention to her. All she knew is that she had a situation and she needed Jesus, even if it was just me to touch him and not him to touch me. See, some of us, we come to church, we come to our cute self, worried about what people can think and what people can say. Can I tell you, there are always going to be some people who ain't gonna like you. Always going to be some people who can talk about you. You always going to have haters, so you might as well just get used to yourself. That if I didn't have haters, you would not be trying to get to Jesus. This woman pressed her way through. Not no excuse me, like I'm on my way. See, when you get desperate enough, you realize you ain't get no time for protocol. You gotta press through. Some of you come to church and everybody gotta announce that you here. Jesus, Lord, how you doing? We come to church and see this woman that already messed up all her nice clothes. She didn't have no more fancy clothes left. Everything was already bloodstained. But she decided, I don't care. Talk with me all you want. But this could be the last day in my mess. That's the question on the side. You say this could be the last day in my mess.